She said that American soccer fans, most of them aren't smart. They don't know the game. They don't understand.
Gio.
That guy Gazpacho.
Sports can take a lame gorilla, okay?
Advice, did you know that Arsenal died?
He's got me buzzing.
Up the talkies. It's hard to up them anyway.
I'm not even going to comment on that. And that brings us to our U.S. men's national team corner. Boys, the headline is obvious that the U.S. men's national team wins their third straight CONCACAF Nations League trophy. The three-peat was on a wonderful lineup with Tim Ream coming in, Tyler Adams starting, Giovanni Reyna starting, Haji Wright, Serginho Dest all coming in. 5 changes to the starting 11 that was in that semifinal that was so lackluster. Boys, they got it done. The first half was maybe not as clinical as we may have liked. There was a good save by Memo Ochoa on Christian Pulisic early. Other than that, Memo Ochoa, probably not the greatest game for him. He allows a 30-yard banger by Tyler Adams in.
Boom.
I think
It's a fucking
bit
rocket,
of
bro.
Alvarez getting in his way. You could see in the real play that Ochoa was kind of looking around Alvarez and maybe was thrown off a bit by that. Then later, Giovanni Reyna put the cherry on top. The Dos Acero, as both Mike and I predicted, with a volley. Credit to Christian Pulisic, too. He had a little chip over the defender, a Messi-esque chip over the defender. Crosses it in, bounces out to Reyna. Oh, boy. If that is in Christian Pulisic's bag, I know we see that from Messi like 10 times a game, and that is like not going to be what Christian Pulisic does, but if he can do it once a game, twice even, that is dangerous what he is looking like out there on the wing. And Giovanni Reyna winning the best player of the tournament. Take that, haters. Geo Hive, we are up big. That was not the only winning. Well, I guess there was a moral win for the U.S. as well in the U.S. U23s. It was a draw, a moral win, though, versus France. Yeah, the U.S. soccer page
We're awaiting
has not
kickoff.
updated the score yet, so maybe not on
So
top
bad,
of their
dude.
shit as much as they should be, but it was a 2-2 draw. It was a questionable penalty call that France got to start it off. They get a second goal late, and then the U.S., in Fergie time, 85th minute, they score 2 goals to end up drawing. It was Griffin Yao, who has been killing it. And then Cade Cowell, the blonde mullet, coming off the same wing that Griffin Yao scored on, makes it 2-2 versus France. This France team had an insanely stacked team with Thuram, Kone, Diakate. I mean, they had Cherokee. I mean, they had all starters in Europe. They were all just an insane level of players that the U.S. probably should not have been able to compete with, and they looked pretty good. I don't think it was at all, even at 2-0, a bad game for them, and obviously come out with a draw that is good. This is the team that we're going to face first in the Olympics. Obviously, the teams are going to be a little bit different. Mbappe rumored to come in. Maybe you see some U.S. players go in there.
Insane.
But we also beat Guinea in this U.S. U23 Olympic roster window. So those are 2 teams that could potentially be in our group, and we come away with 4 points from it. If that happens in the Olympics, we are looking very, very good moving forward. And boys, I think this just tends to ask that the U.S. is making progress with decent results like this, beating a Guinea team, beating tying a France team, and obviously beating Mexico. Mexico has not beat the U.S. since 2019. 7 straight games. And obviously 3 titles now, winning CONCACAF.
I saw a score or a stat during the game. It was like 400-something minutes since they'd even scored on us.
Yeah, I think it's 3 years since Mexico has scored on the U.S. So a tough look for the Mexican fans right now. It is a tough generation. I think just the talent-wise is insane. I know a lot of people are talking about who even gets into a starting 11 or combined 11 talk from Mexico, and the only shout you think I said would be Santi Jimenez, maybe. but he doesn't even start for Mexico.
Right.
But
Edson Alvarez,
Like-
Memo Ochoa are the only other two.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ochoa
I don't
and
think-
Alvarez have a shout.
I don't think Memo helped his case with allowing a 30-yard shot and a near
Near
post
post. Yeah.
volley in. But, boys, all this to say, they are kings of CONCACAF once again. But this turns to, can they hang with CONMEBOL? Because they are going to play in Copa America. I think they are obviously favored to get out of the group. But then they're going to have to play either Brazil or Colombia, assuming that Brazil and Colombia perform as they are expected. Can they hang with one of those teams? Obviously, Brazil just beat England, drew Spain, Colombia beating Spain, and then beating Romania pretty handily. Is that a level that the U.S. can compete with here right now, or do you think that's still a step away, Mike?
Yeah, I'll take the lead on this, and then I'll defer to our resident CONMEBOL expert, Nick, the Colombian. He knows more than me, at least I'd assume. This is going to be scary, man. I'm a little nervous, a little hesitant going into Copa, purely on the fact that we can't afford to go in and be sloppy in our first game like we were against Jamaica. So bad. If we perform poorly against Bolivia in our first game, you can't count on the other teams losing enough for you not to get through. So to come out, I think we can do that. The friendlies will be a good test. Hopefully everyone's available for both of those games, so we get a good look at them. Hopefully Brazil and Colombia both play strong rosters, so we get a proper test. I would hope if we lose in those friendlies, we learn something from it. That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. And I would think, based on Greg's adjustments in that final match, substitutions he made, he's going to be more open to that in the future games. So I'm optimistic. Scared, but optimistic.
Optimistic. Nick, you are on both sides of a potential Colombia-U.S. clash in that quarterfinal. What do you see from Colombia? What do you see from the U.S.? And what do you give the odds for our American boys here?
I am on both sides. Am I on both sides? I
To some
got
degree.
got a foot in one camp and a toe in another, I guess you could say.
I'll
Listen,
take it.
I think of the United States of America, what they have to do is pray to God they finish first in their group to avoid Colombia, because let me tell you, the boys, Los Cafeteros, are playing phenomenal football at the moment. We haven't lost in who knows how long. Nestor Lorenzo, who was
20.
in 2018, was one of the assistant coaches for our World Cup run, where we honestly should have beaten England if it weren't for Carlos Vaca just skying his PK in the end there. But I mean, we are playing phenomenal football. Luis Diaz on fire. James Rodriguez rolling back the clock at this point. We beat Spain and deserve to beat them. A beautiful goal by Daniel Munoz. Mike was raving about it. Comfortable win today against Romania, who, a team we should definitely be beating, and we did very well, 3-1. So we are playing
3-2.
red hot. Or 3-2. Sorry, our CONMEBOL form is fantastic. We have real players. We have young players coming up. The biggest issue for the United States when it comes to playing against these CONMEBOL teams in the Gold Cup is going to be, were the United States actually tested at all these past two games? The answer is no. They weren't.
No.
They weren't pressured. They let up a goal and then were tested in a way that they had to play against the low block of Jamaica. Kind of. It wasn't even a low block for at least the first half. It was just 5 at the back, and then turned into more of a low block. The CONMEBOL is fast paced, it is pressing, it is direct, and they are going, that back line is going to be seriously tested both in and out of possession. I don't know. I did not see, even from Chris Richards, who I assumed was our best defender based on his form for Crystal Palace, I didn't think he had that great of a Nations League. So I think there are some real worries, and forget coming out in the first game. Bolivia is who US has first, right? We have Bolivia first.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
They play a low block.
You could, Bolivia's a stinker of a matchup, by the way. But forget like coming out slow in the first game. Even against Mexico, they keep it slow in the first half. One banger at the very end of the half doesn't just excuse 45 minutes of pretty mediocre at best play that I saw from the United States. So they are capable and have players that produce moments of brilliance. We saw that from Joe Reyna. We saw it from Tyler Adams. We saw it from Christian Pulisic. Jedi Robinson needs to put his shit together because he had a tough tournament as well. I really think that the United States is going to struggle. Fingers crossed that it's a wake up call to the Federation and Berhalter doesn't make it past this summer. I did not like what I saw these previous two games, despite three-peating. By the way, who won this tournament before, like the 4 years ago? Who won the tournament? Oh, that's right. It didn't exist. Got it.
It's literally only
it's a made-up tournament.
That was a setup.
It's a made-up tournament. I think they're going to struggle. I don't know. How do you see it, Flex?
Yeah, after these performances, obviously I love the U.S. men's national team. I see the talent that we have, and I am so happy to see all the talent and all the rising talent as well. But I also don't have any faith in the team based off the manager to rip off a big result. Simply because that has not happened at all. You looked at Bob Bradley. When he was manager, he had big results. He went to knock off Spain in the Confederations Cup in 2009 that had just come off of winning 2 Euros and a World Cup. You go to Jurgen Klinsmann even, and he beat Italy. He beat Germany. He beat Ghana in the group of death to go through. He beat Netherlands. He had a bunch of these games where we played in Europe a whole bunch and were able to get those experiences with so much less talent. Greg Berhalter has not had anything close to that. He has not won a single game against a top 20 opponent in the world other than Mexico. And obviously Mexico is up there because they're just getting their FIFA points off of CONCACAF, and this is the worst generation of them. And boys, I brought up Copa America and how they might perform because there was a Fab Romano tweet today about José Mourinho saying that he would really like to be a national team manager, would love to come in for even as soon as Copa America or the Euros or the African Cup, and maybe before the World Cup, but he doesn't want to wait a full 2 years till after the World Cup. So it begs the question, how serious should the U.S. Federation be looking at this and saying, Jose Mourinho, a hell of a tournament coach, has proven that in Champions League, Europa League, and was it in the Conference League that Roma just got to the final as well? So, I mean...
Yeah, he's won all three. He's the only coach to do it.
He is a tournament coach, if there is any. He is the chosen one. He is the special one. If he is open to it, do you pull the trigger on him right now and say, you know what, fuck it, we are going with Jose Mourinho. He just said he's available. If he's open to the job, let's get him in.
I thought you were going to say pull the trigger and shoot Berhalter in the face because yes, I would do that too to get Jose Mourinho into the national team. Are you kidding me? That would be incredible. That would be a foot on both sides of the camp from me. That is stop it. Let's not dream.
The boys does not condone violence.
Let's not get our hopes up for no reason. The Federation has shown that they're not serious in that way. So it won't happen, but of course you take them.
It's just a business move that if the U.S. Federation were to do this, it would say, hey, we are serious about winning. We are not sitting around being status quo.
Are they?
We're not okay with doing what they're not, though. That is the thing. That is why this is unrealistic. But if they were about winning and they wanted to prove that, this would be that move. Mike, let's say Jose Mourinho comes in. What does that do to the U.S. men's national team ceiling in these tournaments? World Cup at home with Jose Mourinho, Copa America at home with Jose Mourinho.
I'd like to think at least raises it by a knockout round. So say our ceiling right now is quarterfinals in the Copa. It seems like it could be a semifinal, or in the World Cup, it seems like it could go to a quarterfinal. That's at least what I see. It can't make up for a lack of skill when you play one of these really, really elite European or South American sides. That's always going to be there, but it gives you a fighting chance. We're going to play super defensively. He's going to have tactics that just try to destroy teams, get them out of rhythm, and hit on cheap goals. I think we have personnel that could do that. It might limit some of our younger and more skilled players' ability to be creative, but we're going to maximize the chances we get, and we're going to defend the fucking hell out of teams, which we don't do currently. I think it would be a winning move. Do I expect the U.S. to make it? No, but this would be a legitimate winning move. If it even if it didn't work out, this would show that they're legitimate, they're serious about winning something, and they're willing to take risks to pay out.
It would definitely be a solidified defensive team. It would get better. I think Jose doesn't get enough credit for being more progressive than people think he is. I think that Chelsea
I was about to say
that Chelsea park the bus team kind of like I think is stuck in our heads. But
he was cooking with
does,
Dybala at Roma.
Yeah, he does play good attacking football. He plays really well to his personnel, which is what the best managers in the world do, you know? So I mean, he's one of the great ones. He would elevate this team quite a bit.
Yeah. I think this is just one of those moves where you could absolutely see the writing on the wall that the U.S. is serious about getting better and would certainly get better. Obviously, there is a question of whether Mourinho would be interested in the United States job. How much would they be able to pay him? Obviously, he is a sought-after coach, but if there is the smallest of chances that he would listen to an offer from the United States, the U.S. Federation has to reach out to Jose Mourinho because he would be a difference maker for U.S. soccer.